You're looking at Yvette Falarca, a middle school teacher and organizer for Antifa and BAM. For those of you who don't know, Antifa is a radical left-wing communist organization that shows up in all black to conservative or moderate speaking events and disrupts them violently. BAM, or By Any Means Necessary, is an even fringer, more violent version of Antifa. Now, the reason the photo of Falarca, a middle school teacher, looks like a mugshot is because Falarca was actually arrested multiple times for violent incidences, like this.
Are these people going to get Hey, Dave, we don't have to give a speech.
Need to go, boy.
Hey, Dave, we still guys. Come here now.
Stop our street! Stop our street!
You, sir, please. I'm just here to protest. Please,
What's up guys, Sean here, and today I'm doing a video in conjunction with the David Horowitz Freedom Center and StopK12Indoctrination.org about public school teachers and their connections to Antifa.
Antifa!
Yes, that Antifa. A couple of years ago, Yvette Falarca became a national figure when she was part of the riot that was organized to stop Milo Yiannopoulos from speaking at Berkeley. During the riot, people who were just trying to attend Milo Yiannopoulos' speech were physically assaulted. A woman was pepper sprayed in the face on the local news. And at one point, the rioters moved to set fire to the building that Milo Yiannopoulos was set to speak in. Now, when people saw the extreme level of violence that was occurring on one of these college campuses just to stop somebody from speaking, they were notably outraged. However, despite the fact that this was a story of radical violent leftists trying to shut down a conservative from speaking, Yvette came forward to defend her group, and she appeared on Tucker Carlson to do so. Now, during the Carlson interview, she defended the idea that it was okay to use violence in order to silence speech that you disagree with. Then, shockingly, when Tucker asked her the reasonable follow-up question, which was what would she do if one of her students in her middle school expressed views that she disagreed with, she refused to answer the question under the premise that her students were basically so indoctrinated by her that they would never express those types of views in her classroom.
The amendment was always kind of the cornerstone of American civic life, the idea that you have the right to say something that other people may vehemently disagree with, but you have that right. It's enshrined in the Bill of Rights. Do you teach that to your students?
The First Amendment is about free speech, but that's not an abstraction. And if there was someone in my classroom who was espousing rape or genocide or attacks on Muslims, I would certainly make sure that I stood up for the rest of my students and told them they need to stop. And if they refused to, they would need to leave.
Unsurprisingly, when concerned parties looked into Falarca's past record at her middle school, they found a history of her attempting to indoctrinate her students. A quick look at her record indicated that as far back as 2011, Falarca was trying to recruit her students to Antifa protests. Her strategy was to propose field trips under the guise of some sort of academic purpose, but in reality, it was just a way to recruit the children to BAM and Antifa. And despite the fact that she was told specifically not to do this numerous times, Yvette continued to recruit her students to protests, including one instance where she brought her students to an anti-charter school protest. In fact, Yvette was so comfortable recruiting her students to her own personal left-wing causes that whenever she got in trouble for doing so, she would just have her students show up to her disciplinary hearing and shut the thing down. Now, probably the most disgusting thing about Falarca's actions is that in 2016, it was discovered that one of her primary recruitment strategies was to target parents that don't speak English. She played on the fact that certain immigrant parents probably don't know a lot about how the school system functions, and use that to get them to force their students to attend her protests. Now, as bad as Yvette is, she's not the only teacher that is a part of Antifa or BAM. In fact, in 2015, it was discovered that 17 elected positions in the Detroit Federation of Teachers are controlled by BAM members. The fact that so many Detroit teachers are members of radical left-wing organizations have led to numerous instances of sick-outs. Essentially what a sick-out is that a group of teachers all call in sick at the same day in order to attend a protest. Now, it's bad enough that these Detroit sick-outs leave 4,000 children without a school to go to, but what makes it much worse is that the students that are supposed to be in school learning from their teachers are encouraged to go to the protests to support the teachers' causes. Now, as bad as having radical left-wing activists indoctrinating our K-12 students is, it actually starts earlier than that now. Recently in Seattle at a Black Lives Matter rally, a Seattle preschool teacher was caught on film saying that it's time to kill white people in order to take their stuff.
White people, give your f***ing money, your f***ing house, your f***ing property. We need it. it off. And we need to start killing people. First off, we need to start killing the White House. The White House must die.
That's someone who's been given the duty to take care of our youngest children in our public school system. And she is just perfectly fine with calling for racial violence in public. Please visit stopk12indoctrination.org. We have specific provisions to prevent the indoctrination of K-12 public school students into ideologies like this. The classroom is a place to learn and think critically, not be indoctrinated and recruited to violent protests that put the children in danger. Please read over our code of ethics. You can also report incidences of K-12 indoctrination that you see in your day-to-day life and track our progress in passing this legislation throughout numerous states. This has been Sean Fitzgerald for the David Horowitz Freedom Center. Till next time.